Hi guys, this is Dan from the Investment ABC, and in this video I'm going to talk about the latest news on Warren Buffett. According to Reuters, Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway sold 18% of its stake in Delta Airlines and 4% of its holdings in Southwest Airlines last week, as the issues the world and especially the US is facing is intensifying. You have to understand that Warren Buffett is a value investor, and that means he buys great businesses in times when they are undervalued for one or the other reason. He's not a trader but a long-term investor who loves to hold good companies forever if the fundamentals are alright. And exactly here is where airline investors should be very alert. Warren Buffett sold his airline stocks because fundamentally something changed. What is very interesting is that he increased his position in Delta Airlines in February 2020, and when he was asked 3 weeks ago if he is selling his airline stocks, he said, quote, "I won't be selling airline stocks." So what made Warren Buffett change his mind to sell Delta Airlines at a 50% loss in just 1 month? Well, Warren Buffett is well connected to Washington and most likely heard that the issue we are facing now will take much longer than most V-shaped recovery analysts think. Warren Buffett is normally very bullish for the US and US equities and a very strong hand. Seeing him folding tells me that the whole airline industry won't make it on its own. Many airlines will go bankrupt and only some of them will get a bailout. And even those companies that get a bailout, the conditions won't be very favorable for the existing shareholders. A bailout is not free money. Companies most of the time have to issue more shares later to pay back the bailout money, which dilutes the existing shares. Also, those companies won't be able to repurchase their own stocks for a very long time. I was looking myself at some of the airline stocks like Delta Airlines, Qantas and Lufthansa, but the risk in owning them is just too high, though they have a higher probability to survive than some of the pumped cruise stocks like Carnival, for example. Even for the airline stocks, with each passing day, the odds of a total loss of your money is increasing. If you are interested in the aircraft industry, I would recommend to look into Boeing. I bought Boeing stock for a trade at around $110 and sold it again at $152 because I thought the rise was just too quick and the uncertainty is still too high to justify the rise. I'm still watching Boeing and might buy it again at some point because they will most likely get a bailout and existing shareholders will survive even though shares might be diluted soon. If we have a look at some numbers of Delta Airlines, for example, we can see that at the first glance some valuation metrics like the PE ratio or price to book ratio looks very appealing to value investors. But a closer look at the balance sheet shows that current assets are way lower than current liabilities. Delta has around 2.88 billion US dollar in cash and on the other hand 2.29 billion in current debt. On top of the current debt, they have 8.33 billion in deferred revenues. Deferred revenues are revenues they have received but didn't provide a service yet. In the case of Delta, people booked their flights and paid already, but cancelled now that they are not allowed to travel. Delta Airlines has to pay back the money, but most likely will not be able to if they don't get a bailout very soon. The question is, how many companies will the government be able to bail out? I doubt they can bail out all the airline companies. The wave of people who are filing for unemployment has already started. Next comes the wave of companies filing for bankruptcies. This move of the insider of Omaha will spook all those investors who bought aircraft and cruise stocks because they were following blindly Buffett's saying, "Be greedy when others are fearful and fearful when others are greedy." Most of them will panic sell on Monday, and even for the broader market, it should be a warning sign that things will get much uglier before they get better. Somehow I'm suspecting Warren Buffett to be buying more of Kraft Heinz shares because of the low valuation compared to its peers and the fact that he already has a stake which he bought at much higher prices. I have been buying myself Kraft Heinz at around $25 after doing my due diligence. I will share a video on Kraft Heinz with you in the next few days and explain why I bought. This period we are going through right now is a once in a lifetime event, and you can profit from it when you do your due diligence and think outside the box. I would be very careful to use the same strategies as in previous bear markets and to hope that central banks will be able to pump up prices again. If you like this video, please hit the like button, share and subscribe to support the channel. Bye guys, and see you in the next one.